As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn and at the fall of dusk.
Talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that that has not
Christian
come.
faith.
I have known Islam on 3 continents. Islam on 3 continents.
For your hand, where you can swipe your hand for the RFID chip. The questions it shouldn't really have.
The Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, was passed in 2010, and the law makes health insurance available to more people with the hope that they will be able to get the care they need.
Scanner for
The new law also makes it easier for individuals to shop and compare all the different health plans with the healthcare marketplace. And depending on their situation, some may even qualify to get help paying for their plan through a subsidy. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that all citizens must have health insurance or suffer hundreds of dollars in tax penalties that will increase each year. However, if they already receive coverage from their job, nothing really changes. It means that all citizens must have health insurance or suffer hundreds of dollars in tax penalties that will increase each year. However, if they already receive coverage from their job, nothing really changes. Starting October 1st, the new healthcare marketplace opens up for those without coverage to compare different plans. Under the new law, insurance providers cannot deny those with pre-existing conditions. This is great news for most people looking to purchase health insurance, but there are many different plans to choose from, and finding the right one is not an easy task. If you would like to learn more about the upcoming changes to the healthcare system and how they affect you, select the Continue button at the bottom of the screen. After a few simple questions, we can have an experienced professional reach out to help you find the plan that fits your specific needs.
Obamacare at Walmart and the scanner for the RFID chip. All in one package. Here we go, folks.
The Greek letters, XES, which John wrote in Greek, are actually the Arabic phrase, Bismillah, which means, in the name of Allah. He says that what John saw, were actually Arabic letters, which John could not read, but which bore a resemblance to the Greek alphabet in which John wrote. It would have been pointless to write symbols of another language, which could not be read by the Greek readers of Revelation. So it is very possible that the Arabic Bismillah is indeed what John saw, and recorded in Greek letters. The first symbol of 666 are the Muslim crossed swords, the X character, a symbol of Islam and jihad, which are often used by Muslims, on flags and military symbols. Notice the handles on the swords. The middle, E, symbol, is an Islamic symbol called Bismillah, Arabic for Allah. Or, in the name of Allah. When you turn the Bismillah on its side and place it in a mirror, it forms the same middle Greek character, as written by John. Notice the line drawn, above Allah, and the hook, on its end. The line, it is part of the word Allah, it is not an underline. Notice the same hook in the line drawn by John. It matches the line, in the name Allah exactly. The third character is the Greek character stigma, which means mark, or badge of servitude. The Greek XES or 666, has been noted not just in the Bismillah, but also in the Shahada, which is the Islamic confession of faith. Which is what the Quran states, will be written on the badge of servitude, on the Day of Judgment. The XES, has also been noted, on an Islamic Chechen flag, which bears the crossed swords and the name Allahu Akbar, meaning God is greater. This flag bears a striking resemblance to the Greek XES, as written by John. Even bearing the line, above the letter E, in the name, Allah. It has also been noted, that in the Arabic calligraphy form, the name, Allahu Akbar, contains 3 sixes, which can be clearly seen. During Salah, Muslim prayers, the name, Allahu Akbar, is repeated constantly and is recited, exactly 111 times per day, for 6 days, which equals 666. And during Friday prayer, Muslims recite, Allahu Akbar, only 98 times. Therefore a direct connection, between the name, Allahu Akbar and the number 666 can be perceived. The Bible speaks about taking the mark, on the forehead or right hand. It has been pointed out, that Muslims are already wearing marks, on their foreheads and arms, as Islamic banners of protest, and jihad. So Muslims have already been conditioned to take the mark, as a symbol of their belief. The Greek word charagma, used for mark, means a stamp, an imprinted mark. So a follower of the Antichrist, will have a stamp on their body, or on some form of badge, to be placed on the forehead or arm. In John's time, the use for charagma was reserved for slaves in what was called, a badge of servitude. So, it's a badge, that declares slavery, and ownership by the master. And his followers, use it to demonstrate allegiance to this master. This would fit Islam, since according to Islamic theology, Muslims are slaves of Allah. And Islam is the religion of submission. Take a look at the many different Islamic headbands, which have been created, for a Muslim to wear, as a sign of their faith. There is a very interesting headband, which actually has the XES written on it, with crossed swords. They call it, the Shahid headband. Amazingly, the Strong's Hebrew Dictionary tells us exactly what the name Allah really means. The name Allah is actually the Hebrew word for curse, or oath. Strong's Dictionary says it's an imprecation, curse, cursing, execration, oath, or swearing. So, Allah is actually the word for a curse. And amazingly, it was the serpent in the Garden of Eden, which became the first being to be cursed by God. Therefore a connection between the serpent, being cursed, and Allah, which means a curse, is very surprising. It would appear that by wearing the name Allah, you are in point of fact, wearing a curse. Which would explain why the name Allah is in the shape of the cursed serpent. In the Bible, Revelation 12:9 describes Satan as the great dragon, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan. Then the book of Revelation goes on to speak about the great dragon Satan, giving his throne to the Antichrist, and a group of people worshipping the dragon, which has given them this Antichrist king. Revelation 13:4. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? What people would knowingly worship the dragon Satan? The answer is none. These people have no idea they are actually worshipping Satan. But they are shouting his praises in the streets, because the dragon has given them a king. What type of people would actually stand in the street, praising their God for giving them an empire and strong king, that no one dare make war against. How do Muslims praise their God? By shouting Allahu Akbar. This is how they worship the dragon Satan. By shouting Allah is great. The Bible doesn't just call Satan the dragon but, the great, dragon. The great, is actually part of the name of Allah. But in the Bible the great, is part of the name for the dragon. Even the whore of Babylon who rides the beast, has a name written on her head. Mystery Babylon, the Great. A city that thinks she is great. The word for great is Akbar, and is indeed a boast, which only the Muslims cry out. The other meaning of the Hebrew word Allah, or curse, is an oath. A binding oath. As we'll discover later, a binding oath, is exactly what Allah requires, from his followers. In the Garden of Eden, while speaking to the serpent, God gave us a very profound prophecy, concerning the end days. Genesis 3:15 says, I will make you and the woman hate each other. Her offspring and yours, will always be enemies. Her offspring, will crush your head. And you will bite her offspring's heel. God spoke of hatred between, the serpent Satan, and the woman Israel. Then he speaks about two seeds. The seed of the woman, and the seed of the serpent. The seed of the woman, whose heel was bitten, by the serpent, was the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ, which was crucified having nails driven through his feet, which left him with 2 puncture marks. As if he had been bitten by a serpent. But who is the seed of the serpent? I believe it is speaking, about the promised son of the serpent, a false Messiah. To find out, who these two opposing races are, we don't have to look very far. We know that the woman is Israel, which gave birth to the Messiah. We only need now look, for the race of people, which according to this verse hates Israel, like the serpent does. This race is none other than the Muslims. But wait, God is describing that a seed will come from the serpents. This seed of the serpent is describing the Antichrist, which will come from the people, which Satan has chosen, because of their hatred for Israel. Just like Jesus was the promised seed of the woman, Israel. So Islam is also waiting for Allah to send them a promised Messiah.